Hi, I'm Morgan.
And I'm Jake, and this is
Neverland Navigation Radio,
where we get into the holiday spirit and we go through our lists of Christmas miracle attractions. Hey, Morgan, what the heck is a Christmas miracle attraction?
So what we are saying is that the Christmas miracles are the rides that we have been worried or whatever, the whatevers that we have been worried would be shut down, but by a Christmas miracle still exists.
Yes. I can't wait. There's a good chunk of these.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what you have
It'll
on your
be just
list.
a fun and funny conversation, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. And, it is the holiday season, so it's nice to be thankful for our little Christmas miracle attractions that are still somehow holding on,
Yeah.
Before we dive into our lists, though, we wanted to say thank you so much for joining us for today's show. If you are on the audio platforms like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and you want to help our show out, we would absolutely love if you guys would subscribe to the show, and it would be super helpful to us if you would leave a review letting us know that you enjoyed the production today. Or if you're on the visual version of the podcast over on the Neverland Navigation Co. YouTube channel, you can check out the visual version, which we upload in full every single week for free.
Yep. And if you are thinking about taking a vacation of any sort, Disney, Universal, or a cruise, please send me an email at neverlandnavigationco@gmail.com because I am a free-to-you travel agent. They can get you the same deal as you would get yourself online or better. And I do deal monitoring to make sure you continue to have the best deal out there. And you get free trip t-shirts that are custom from our 5-star Etsy shop.
Yes, like Christmas magic.
Like Christmas magic.
Soft as the driven snow. These t-shirts. All right.
All right.
Now that we've gotten through, let's talk about some of these Christmas miracle attractions. And I have to say, normally we would start on here with honorable mentions, but I'm worried that we're gonna have crossover.
Yeah.
Not worried. It's natural.
We're gonna have. We always have crossover, but this one is very specific.
Right. So what do you think about saving honorable mentions till the end?
I didn't even do like 10 or a certain. Okay. So like I'm down to just like rapid fire, slow fire.
But go for it.
Yeah.
Slow fire. Slow roll. Okay, cool. Do you want to start us off with one, Morgan?
Sure. Actually, I'll start us off with one that I don't think you'll have.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Okay. So it is a Christmas miracle that we still have and are going to continue to have: the Disney Cruise Line's Disney Magic and Disney Wonder.
Oh!
Was that on your list?
No, I love it.
So these ships are older than the competing cruise lines.
I thought you were going to say older than the hills.
Why? Because I say that so often?
No, it's not. That's where it was going.
Okay. These two cruise lines are so
the OGs.
Yeah, they're the OGs. They're the first ones that came out. And other cruise lines like Royal Caribbean and the competitors of Disney Cruise Line, they have retired boats that are of this age.
Right, that's normal.
Right. But I will say that I have been on the Disney Magic a couple of years ago, and it is still fantastic. They did a great job with the refurbishments.
Yeah.
I don't mind that it's a smaller boat.
Mm-hmm.
There are pieces of the Disney Magic specifically, which is their oldest boat, that I just love with my entire heart and would miss so much if it were gone. Yeah. And so I'm very, very glad that as they're cranking out these bigger boats with a gusto, that they are not saying anything about retiring and putting out to pasture the Disney Magic specifically.
Sending them to the farm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is great. They are definitely approaching the cruise lines with a lot of vim and vigor. They're adding a bunch of new ships. It is great that they have chosen to go the refurbish and refresh route for the classic ships.
Other cruises can do that, but for whatever reason they don't. I'm guessing it's because of size.
Yeah.
And they're deciding that it's just not worth the money. And I'm really glad that Disney isn't doing that because I love these. I love the magic specifically. I love it.
And they're still making a good amount off of the sailings.
I'm sure they're doing okay.
Right.
Yeah. And some of the boats that are newer than the Disney Magic from other cruise lines seem much older, in my opinion. So that's Disney and their commitment to quality and their commitment to upkeep.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And that is very impressive from what I've heard on Disney Cruise Line across the board.
It is. I never felt like I was on a dated boat that was in desperate need of refurbishment. But I have been on other cruise lines boats where I'm like, you need a refurb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
An outdated feel.
They told us on one of the you can do a walkthrough with somebody, like a tour when you go on the cruises, and they were talking about how often they change the carpet, and I can't remember the specific, but it is so regularly.
Oh, that's great to hear.
It is great because that's one of the things you notice.
Yeah, in a hotel, if you have a real beat up carpet, it just brings the experience down a bit.
It really shows the age.
Makes you think about how many people have tread this carpet before.
Yes.
What's the opposite of a magic carpet?
A threadbare carpet.
Morgan would say the carpet of the Swan and Dolphin, because I believe that is. I have
said that.
That's the one that's our go-to. This
dingy
carpet needs to be replaced.
Yeah, what are you doing?
So it's cool that on the cruise lines, even the original ships have like this level of
and yeah, you're right. The carpet is just something that you don't even know you notice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a subconscious influence.
But with ocean water and chlorinated pool water and all the stuff that people are constantly, you know, it makes sense for them to change it regularly, and they do.
Yeah. So, that is a great one. I never would have thought of that. That's great.
That's actually, if I were going to rank them, that's my number one, because age-wise, according to the cruise industry, it's time for retirement. But I love this ship.
Yeah, and this is the attitude that we love. How can we take a classic? We love this energy in the parks as well. How can we take a classic and keep it intriguing, feeling fresh, modernized to the utmost extent?
Right. And if it's a hotel, you don't want to feel like you're in an old, nasty, slept in a lot hotel. Yeah. So this is great.
Wonderful.
So that's my number one.
I've got a boat.
Top. Oh, you have a boat.
Yeah. This one's sad because it's going. But it is a miracle that the Liberty Square riverboat.
Oh, see, I didn't include these because I thought, well,
the miracle
you know what I mean? There's no miracle now. So you're saying it's a miracle that we get it for one more year?
That it's lasted as long as it even has.
Sure. That makes sense.
This, the Liberty Square riverboat, and I'm going to lump in Tom Sawyer's Island here, have not been the most popular attractions or the most well-received in guest satisfaction surveys for the past several years at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
And it has only been a matter of when for quite a bit. We've been discussing what they could do with Tom Sawyer's Island on this podcast for about as long as I can remember.
And never in our wildest dreams would we have thought, fill in the water.
Gonna put land there.
What?
Yeah, that is absolutely wild. But yeah, just the fact that we've had these opening day attractions in the Magic Kingdom and that they have lasted for so long, largely in their completely original form, that's kind of a Christmas miracle. Now, I would say that these are low on the list because in my mind, they need to be,
especially Tom Sawyer's Island.
Right. It's not the Disney Cruise Line attitude of what can we do to plus up and modernize and keep these experiences fresh. They have largely left them to kind of lose their relevance and culturally decay.
Yeah, disintegrate a bit. Yeah,
right.
For sure.
So although it's been great from a historical perspective to have them, they're pretty low on the list because, you know, it was time.
Yes.
It's a Christmas miracle that they've held on so long. God love them.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Liberty Square Riverboat is definitely my first Christmas miracle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I go with another?
Please.
Okay. So I'll do one in the same, or should I do another boat? Should we stay
Oh,
on a
you've got
boat
another
theme?
boat?
I do.
Tell me.
Okay. I think it's a Christmas miracle, although apparently in my house there's a bit debating about this.
Oh, controversial.
Yes. I think it's a Christmas miracle that we still have Living with the Land.
Me too. It's on here for me.
So you have a boat.
I have another boat.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the controversy isn't whether it's a worthwhile ride, because I think it fits in there with it's definitely worth it at Christmas because they do the whole Christmas lights in the greenhouse.
Glistening greenhouse.
Yes.
A good name.
Yes. And it's worth it even at other times for just a break.
Yeah.
A low-lying break. But the question was whether they would even consider replacing this with something else. But I think yes. I think they would consider it, especially if they could throw some IP in there.
Right.
Yeah.
It is in it is in the Land Pavilion.
Uh-huh.
And
by Soarin', which is a very, very popular attraction.
Exactly.
What would they put over there?
I don't know. Really anything, I suppose, that could have to do with
nature.
Here's my answer. Pocahontas, and it would be called Just Around the River Bend, a scenic cruise. I don't know. Through the
But then would
Americas.
they have to change Garden Grill? Oh, no, you're saying Pocahontas could go see the Joneses.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought it through. But yeah, I could definitely see, it feels so old school Epcot.
Yeah.
In there, and that's why I love it.
That's why I love it, yeah.
Of course. But it does seem that things have been going the way of being replaced by IP attractions, or in that particular pavilion, thrill attraction. I don't know if I'd call Soarin' a thrill attraction, but, more large scale.
Mm-hmm.
Attraction. So it is kind of a miracle that Living with the Land, in the form that it's in, has held on for so long.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Living with the Land. That is a really good one. And it has really had only minimal changes since opening day in Epcot.
Yes.
Those being that it was originally called Listen to the Land. It originally had a different song, and it originally had onboard narration from a live cast member.
Right.
That is not the case anymore. It's pre-recorded. But I think the spirit and all of the sets and the greenhouse are still all the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, Living with the Land, that is a Christmas miracle.
Yes.
Perhaps its Christmas overlay is what's saving it, because it is very popular.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. At Christmas, you're right. It's like an hour-long wait. It's craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very popular.
That does end my boats.
Yeah, I don't think I have any other boats either.
All right, what's your next one?
All right.
Or pick one.
Okay.
Spin the wheel.
I'm gonna pick Beauty and the Beast live on stage, and I know that some people would call this not a miracle,
right?
The opposite of a miracle.
As a matter of fact, have you not said you wanted a refresh on this?
I absolutely do want a refresh on this,
but you don't want it to go away entirely.
I don't want it to go away.
Got it.
In an era where we're losing entertainment from the parks left and right, it feels to me that this is something that I have been wondering how long it could possibly hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that the costuming is outdated on this show, and I do think that the characters in the show are crazy. Like we often talk about oversized Chip, how he's like the same height as like Lumiere and Cogsworth, and how that's so weird.
Yeah.
So I think all of that needs to be fixed. Here's what I would love to see happen. This would be my Christmas miracle, is if they give this the treatment that they are attempting to currently give the Little Mermaid show, which is to completely, from what Disney has said, they are completely retooling the production with new sets, new costumes, new technology, and a new script.
And puppets, please. Now, I'm not talking about Little Mermaid. I'm talking about Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, I would love puppets. That would be
instead
great.
of a 5-foot Chip.
Yeah, that can't. Surely they can't keep holding on to that, right? This stage is utilized for other stuff during Jollywood Nights. They have like a holiday spectacular that takes place on the stage. So it definitely can be used for we've seen them use it for other things. I would love to see them retool this show into something a little bit more razzle-dazzly for the modern age. I think they blew an opportunity of not timing that with the live action when the hype of Beauty and the Beast was a little bit more out and about, and they were trying to celebrate it in the parks a little bit more. But I do hope that it does receive some love and tenderness in the near future.
But you're happy it still exists. I get it.
I'm very happy it still exists.
I get it, yeah.
Just from a standpoint of having more stage shows at Walt Disney World.
Right. That makes sense.
Yes.
All right. Am I just jumping around?
Jump around.
Okay. I'm going to say it is a Christmas miracle that we still have the Country Bears.
Oh.
And in their new form.
Absolutely.
Because this was a redo it or get rid of it kind of situation. We were assuming this would be going away in the relatively near future, and instead they decided to do so. This is like the Disney magic.
Yes, it truly is.
Yeah, so they decided to do like a refresh, change the songs and everything, and I love it.
Yeah.
And we didn't lose,
right, animatronics.
These original characters.
Right.
Disney Parks characters, are, I think, near and dear to my heart, near and dear to a lot of our hearts.
It is kind of a miracle. This was opening day, right, for Magic Kingdom, I believe. Very cool that we managed to hold on to this because we have the original Country Bear Jamboree. The Disneyland one has gone away.
Right.
So anytime that one version of the ride goes away on one of the coasts, you kind of think, oh gosh, well, I hope we're keeping it, or I hope someone's keeping a version open. Because we like to see them preserve those classic attractions when possible. Country Bear Musical Jamboree is a great example because they retooled the content, they rewrote the script, and they made it a little bit more relevant to modern audiences by including songs that they're familiar with already. And I think that is a great treatment for a classic entertainment offering like the Country Bear Jamboree. I felt like a kid on Christmas in there because I was so glad to see the show with beautiful new costumes, sounding clearer than it has in the past forever. It was really lovely to see.
Yeah, I love it. I'm really glad it's still around.
I would love to do another show if you don't mind.
Okay.
I don't know if you have this on your list. I guess I wouldn't be surprised because I know you love this show. I have Mickey's PhilharMagic on here.
Do.
Oh,
yes.
You do?
I do love that show.
Okay. Mickey's PhilharMagic is a 3D show, and it has been around for quite some time, since the 2000s. I really enjoy it. I'm really glad it's still here. They have recently updated it to include, first of all, they remastered the film.
Right.
Which we love to see. Second of all, they introduced a new sequence for the movie Coco.
Amazing.
And we really like that part.
We love it.
We really look forward to it. So it's a Christmas miracle that a 3D show has lasted so long. And it's a Christmas miracle that they continue to give it the love and attention that it deserves to operate at a high quality standard. So Mickey's PhilharMagic, I hope, remains. And I would love to see it updated more with more scenes. Maybe like Encanto or Moana 2 is doing really well right now. Maybe Moana
2 is breaking the box office.
Yeah, absolutely smashing.
Yeah. Yes, I would love that as well. I would love for them to just keep adding instead of taking away. I don't know how possible that is. At some point you get to where it's too much, but
exactly.
Yes, I really love this. I think it's a great break from the sun. I think it's a great break from the crowds. Yes. There's never a wait for it.
Hour-long Mickey's PhilharMagic. No, just kidding. No, it is. It's a great break. We need things like that are air conditioned and comfortable. I wouldn't call it one of those shows where you can take a nap. It's not like a Hall of Presidents type of vibe.
Right.
If you can sleep over the booing and the political arguments that happen in there, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Mickey's PhilharMagic, though, is a great little refuge. And it's also such a great place of nostalgia. I love it in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PhilharMagic.
The first time I did PhilharMagic, I teared up. So it's, even though it's just a show, It's important, I think.
Just seeing all of those properties together, Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Lion King, back to back to back. It's like, oh.
All the Renaissance.
Yeah, this is like them trying to sell me VHS tapes back in the day. It's like
it's like my childhood.
Yes, the Disney Renaissance Classics collection in 3D.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it in there.
Okay, I'll do another show that I know is on your list.
Tell me.
And then that way we just did ones that we are doing together, and that is Carousel Progress.
Yes.
Yeah, Carousel Progress is that this one might have been my like number 2, you know, if I was actually ranking.
Yeah.
Because this one does seem like it really could be on the chopping block. They do close it down sometimes. The wait is never, ever, ever anything.
Do you want to hear something I don't think we've ever talked about on this show about the Carousel Progress?
Sure.
They were gonna chop it.
Oh, okay.
They had plans, and this came out after the fact. There were plans, I believe, in the 2000s to revitalize our Tomorrowland.
Right.
That ended up being canceled, I believe, because of the recession. And the plan was actually to raise the Carousel of Progress and to insert a new ride, like an actual attraction. So this one truly dodged a bullet. And I'm sure you'll get into it, but it would have been a great historical loss if that were to happen. And I think that makes this one of the ultimate like Christmas miracle attractions, because we almost lost it and it's as old as the hills.
Yeah, and nobody goes to it. That's really the scary part to me.
Right.
Like it being old, if something's old but still popular, then it's still, I think it's still safe.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
This one is old, kind of becoming irrelevant. Every day that goes by, it gets further and further from the actual present.
It's true.
And nobody goes. So it's scary.
Right. I've not seen a packed Carousel Progress show in many years.
Right. It's a great place to go wait out the rain. We enjoy going to it every once in a while. I know there's a bunch of locals and a bunch of diehard fans that go to it, but it's not popular. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes away. Historically, this was at the World's Fair. There's just so much history
Disneyland.
there. Yes.
Right. It's crazy.
And Disneyland doesn't have theirs anymore. So
we have it.
Right.
So we need to take care of it.
Yes.
Because it's our baby now.
Right.
Yeah. Good for Disney for not.
Yeah. Well, do you know why? Did you say because of the recession?
Yeah. They canceled the Tomorrowland overhaul that they were going to do on this coast because of the recession. They were losing a lot of money because people weren't going to Disney World.
This is like post 9/11 then?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
It is great that did not happen. I don't know if the plan was to ship it back to Disneyland or whatever. As we know,
I don't think they still have the space for it, do they?
The Carousel Theater still exists at Disneyland, but it does not rotate. So right now what's in there, I believe, is Star Wars Launch Bay.
Oh.
Their version of Star Wars Launch Bay.
It's incapable of rotating, or it just doesn't rotate?
I don't know the answer to that. It hasn't rotated in many years. Because prior to it being Star Wars Launch Bay, it was their version of Innoventions. If you remember, Disneyland had their own version of Innoventions in that space. Prior to that, it was America Sings, which was a rotating Americana animatronics musical attraction. And then prior to that, it was Carousel Progress. So it has not rotated in many years.
Shipping an entire ride is bonkers to me.
I can't even imagine the logistical feat of shipping an entire attraction, but I'm very glad that it didn't end up happening. Selfishly, because I love the Carousel of Progress, but also because a part of me wonders if they would go through the financial burden of making that theater functional and ready to house the Carousel of Progress again, and of shipping it all the way across the country piece by piece.
Yeah.
Thank gosh the Carousel of Progress lives to see another Big Right Beautiful tomorrow, and that Disney did not burn the Thanksgiving dinner by absolutely knocking it down and raising it.
Yes, I agree. I Unfortunately, I feel like I need to say I will be sad when this goes away.
Yes, me too. Walt Disney famously said that the parks are not a museum. However, I would love to see the Carousel of Progress shipped to a museum because I want it to live forever.
They need a museum park.
Okay.
Like a
I like
park.
this.
Park 5, like old rides. Like I want Horizons and next to.
Don't play with me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll stop. Go on.
I would be first in line, and
me
too. Shall we stay in Tomorrowland?
Okay.
I have on here the People Mover, and the only reason that it made.
I'm not worried about that going.
I'm not worried about it going. It did. There was a time.
Yeah.
There was a time where it was questionable.
Right.
Because as we know, on one coast, they transformed the People Mover into a thrill ride called Rocket Rods. If you would like the full story, take a look back at our Tomorrowland episode of the podcast because we go into it extensively. But long story short, they destroyed the ride track.
Right.
By trying not purposefully, but in transforming a slow-moving scenic tour of Tomorrowland into a stop-and-go semi-thrill attraction called Rocket Rods, they ended up eroding the foundation of the People Mover track in Disneyland, which is, by the way, the original People Mover. So it's very disheartening that they lost it, and if that happened to us, that would also be very sad.
I agree. I just don't think we're at risk of losing this one. I think for them, it's a low maintenance, easy people eater.
People mover, people eater.
Yeah, and
I agree.
And 10 years ago, you could walk on this ride at any given time. But now, I can't get on there without a 20-minute wait in the sun in a kickback, switchback line or whatever. So it's doing better than ever.
Absolutely.
People love it.
Yes.
And I think they've probably learned their lesson from what a flipping nightmare the Disneyland situation was.
And that's the real Christmas miracle.
Yeah, did they learn their lesson?
I hope so.
Yeah, I agree.
The most recent scare that we had on this was actually during the COVID-19 pandemic. This was the last thing to reopen because they were having major issues with getting the People Mover to move.
Now that's a whole nother thing.
You remember that? It was closed for 2 years.
Right.
Almost.
Yeah.
That was a scary time to love the People Mover.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And if it went down got taken away for some reason that wasn't because they just decided it wasn't good enough anymore or it was too old or whatever.
Yeah.
That could happen.
Yeah, right. That's the real threat.
Yeah.
And since they did put in the money to fix it up and get it moving again, it was a major relief.
Yeah.
Because a part of me was starting to think, I didn't even know it, but maybe I rode the People Mover for the last time and I didn't even realize.
That about the freaking trams for a while after COVID.
Will we ever have another tram ride? Yeah, I definitely thought that a couple times.
Yeah. I have another one on my list that is not really in danger of being taken away because it's not popular.
Okay.
But it could be taken away because of hurricane damage or because they decided to retheme an area. And that is my favorite Pluto sign in Hollywood Studios.
Oh.
It's the fluorescent Pluto sign where he's wagging his tail.
Yeah.
So one day, I'm sure we'll do a favorite signs episode.
How have we not?
Spoiler alert, this is my favorite sign in all of Walt Disney World. So I just love it. It's nostalgic. It's cute. It screams Hollywood Studios to me. So
I didn't send you this because I didn't want to alarm you, but a couple months ago it went missing.
Shut up!
And it came back, so don't worry.
What? How does a sign go missing?
I believe they must have been doing maintenance on it. Okay. It must have gone out or something.
Well, I was worried because of the hurricane. We had a major hurricane, and it's up high. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, it's in kind of what we think might be a vulnerable kind of spot. I was worried about it. It's back.
Gosh. Okay.
I can't believe we haven't done signs, first of all.
I know.
Second of all, this is like...
We will.
It warms my heart to see this sign. I didn't even consider it. It is a Christmas miracle. I think the front of Hollywood Studios all together is kind of a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like the last remaining chunk of the park
MGM.
that's got old Hollywood MGM vibes left in it. I think the Pluto sign is emblematic of those vibes.
Yes.
And it is a Christmas miracle that it remains.
Actually, I know it's not my turn, but can I just go on to one more small thing
Tell me.
because it just fits in with this perfect.
Yes.
Another thing I put on my list is, and this is wild, okay, is the outside queue portion of Star Tours because it is old school MGM. Where if you're looking at the front of Star Tours, it looks like these big redwood trees, from the movie,
right?
And the AT-AT or at
Endor.
And I don't.
I think it's Endor.
And then
don't quote me.
And then when you go behind, when you're in line, you see behind the trees that it's a movie set.
Yeah.
And
scaffolding and studio lights.
Yes.
Right.
And I don't think Star Tours will go away, but I wouldn't be surprised if it moved.
Yeah.
Because of it, how we always say it's so weird that they basically got a Star Tours land, which is Batuu, Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
And then they've got a separate Star Tours ride. That's like not even in a different park. It's like just a short 3-minute walk away from Star Wars land. So I just wouldn't be surprised if at some point it moves.
Right.
And if it moves, then we lose that piece of MGM Hollywood movie set, goodness that I love.
And it's one of the last real chunks of it.
Yes, exactly. That's why I felt like I had to say it right now, because you were just talking about that. There's that front part that gives me old MGM vibes, and then there's the queue of Star Tours.
Yes, absolutely.
And really that restaurant right next to it, if you go in there, the back lot, but
Express? Oh, yeah, that is
It
very...
still has some old school Hollywood backlot.
Super old school MGM vibes.
Yes.
Star Tours.
And that could close too, because we don't even like the food there. But
I think it's likely that might close. Yeah. The Star Tours queue also is kind of a miracle, a Christmas miracle. Sorry, light day miracle in Star Wars terms, because it survived a transformation, a refresh of the ride, where they made changes to the queue and they refreshed the boarding video, the on-screen film, the animatronic in each of the simulator cars. So the fact that those old school MGM touches survived that round ensured their future for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And that in itself is kind of a Christmas miracle.
I don't think it's even like that they're... I think they just don't even think about it, because the line almost never... I can't remember the last time I saw the line for Star Tours out into the outdoor portion.
Right.
So
not normal.
Right. So they probably don't even think of it anymore.
Right.
Because it's never... you never line up that far out there.
Right.
There's a lot of line inside. You do get in line inside sometimes, but yeah, I can't...
And now with most Star Wars crowds being directed to Batuu, Galaxy's Edge attractions, I'm sure it's not top of mind for them to remove some scaffolding from the back half of the AT-AT or whatever.
Yeah.
They probably don't care.
Yeah.
But for us, it's like, ooh, look.
Yeah.
Little past Easter egg or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a great one. Did not consider that. I've got one from Hollywood Studios as well.
All right.
And it's a bit of a hear me out.
Okay.
But the fact that Tower of Terror is still themed to the Twilight Zone.
Okay, I thought about this.
Is a kind of a Christmas miracle. The Twilight Zone, I would say, is not a property that most families visiting Hollywood Studios have maybe even ever seen a single frame of in their entire life.
That's a really good point.
So, with that being said...
And does Disney even own that? I don't...
It's a licensing agreement. Okay, so, no, they do not own that. So, that adds an entire additional level of how is this staying?
They like their rides to promote their movies.
corporate
Yeah.
synergy, the musical. And on the other coast, at Disneyland Resort, this was rethemed to Guardians of the Galaxy to become Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, which is a modern fan favorite attraction. Our Tower of Terror is the original, though, so it retaining its classic theme is cool and lovely. And it also is home to some of the most immaculate theming of a queue exterior of an attraction and ride experience of any thrill ride.
Yeah.
Probably anywhere, but definitely at Walt Disney World. So the fact that it's managed to hold on so long, at least for me, is definitely a Christmas miracle.
I agree.
And I hope that it remains the same. I think the odds are kind of low. I think we will see the day.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. What you're saying makes a lot of sense.
I think we will see the day
it's
that this is rethemed.
It's just such a popular ride.
You know, it's really one of those things where I believe we are at the point now where, in terms of cultural relevancy, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror has made more of a long-lasting cultural impact on people visiting Hollywood studios than perhaps the original Twilight Zone itself. And when you think Twilight Zone, I bet if anyone has been to Hollywood studios, they probably think Tower of Terror, and perhaps if they're not very familiar with the original property, they might believe that it is an original concoction of Disney themselves.
Yeah, I agree, especially our age and younger.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're not watching that.
Right.
So, you know, Tower of Terror, it is a weird case. Mm-hmm. Sunset Boulevard is changing by the minute.
Yeah.
So we'll hold on and see how it goes. But the fact that it stayed the same in its entirely original form, with only a few alterations to randomized drop sequences, etc., kind of a Christmas miracle. Very glad that we still have the chance to ride it.
Yes.
Love Tower of Terror.
Interesting. I can't even...
Ariana Grande agrees with me.
Okay. That's good.
We don't have to discuss this anymore. But she read a letter saying, "Hey Disney, please don't retheme this." And I've never agreed with her more. You know, I also want them not to retheme this.
Okay.
So as long as it holds on, I'll be happy.
A letter.
Yeah, she was on some podcast and she was like, "Hey, I've got a letter for Walt Disney World," and she read it and she was like, "I know you rethemed it on the other coast. I grew up going to this park. We all love it with the Tower of Terror, Twilight Zone theme. Please don't change it." I was like, "Yeah, you could come on our podcast and read that letter. We'd say the same thing." That being said, I don't think either of us would be surprised if the day came that this would be rethemed to something Disney spooky.
Yeah.
You know?
Or not spooky. I mean, Guardians worked out.
Yeah, Guardians is a massive success over at Disneyland Resort. So yeah, I guess it wouldn't surprise me if they did Guardian. Now, when they opened the Cosmic Rewind attraction here, I thought, oh, they're not going to do.
I don't think they will. I don't think that we'll get Guardians Tower of Terror.
Double, yeah. That would be wild.
I think they would do it something completely different.
Doctor Strange.
They'll
make it
the really good...
Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yes.
You know that thing?
Yes, but I know that there are some rights issues with Doctor Strange over here.
Right.
Anyway, so...
Because he's represented in Marvel Superhero Island over at...
Universal?
Park. Yeah, Islands of Adventure. Right.
I don't know what I haven't, obviously, I'm not a lawyer. I have no idea what the deal is, but...
Morgan's not a lawyer. Mm-hmm. I am not a doctor. Neither of us are Doctor Strange. But yeah, Tower of Terror is mine, yeah.
Okay. Another one in the same park that I think is a Christmas miracle. It's still around, although this is debatable because we haven't gone on this in 5 years. Is Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy this show.
Me too.
But not enough to go very often, I guess. And I think the property, since the last movie didn't do well, it's probably fading out. No, because they're putting in an Indiana Jones ride in Animal Kingdom.
I know.
What's happening? Anyway.
Confusing.
So,
hard to track the logic.
Really. I'm shocked. It's like, this is...
If they closed this today, I would be like, yeah,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
It's been a minute.
But then they're opening a new Indiana Jones ride, even though the movie didn't do well.
But I have
Harrison
to
Ford has
say,
aged out of the role.
Yeah.
And they've tried twice now to hand it off to somebody else, and it hasn't worked either time.
But the Indiana Jones stunt show, Epic Stunt Spectacular, is a good show.
It's a good show.
It's exciting. It's got a lot of great special effects. The practical sets are extremely impressive. When the original, I don't know if you've seen the show, but it opens on a temple interior set, and then that set rolls away to reveal an exterior marketplace set where there are additional stunt sequences. Then there is a finale that involves a plane and a lot of pyrotechnics. And it is a really exciting, interesting show to watch.
Right.
Could this stand to just be shortened and tightened up, do you think?
I don't think that's its issue.
Okay.
I don't think length is its issue. I think the issue is that kids today don't know Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do, but it's definitely going to fade out if they don't have any future plans. It's kind of turning into what you were talking about with Tower of Terror, where like my kid knows Indiana Jones, but is more familiar with the ride at Disneyland than the movie.
Than the movie itself.
Wild.
Right.
And if nothing new is going to start happening, then that's going to continue to be the case.
The ride is going to have to be so good.
They must have a plan for more movies that we're just not aware of. Like some plan to make it happen again.
They even tried to do Young Indiana Jones.
That's what I'm saying. They tried twice to pass it off.
Right.
Oh, Young. That's a different one. Yeah. So that's a third kind of option. Yeah. There's Young. There's Shia LaBeouf. Right. And then there's this last one.
Right. With the revamp.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say, I would be surprised if this held on. It is a Christmas miracle that it's lasted so long.
Right.
It is firmly...
Stunt shows have kind of fallen.
It's true.
Yeah.
I would definitely say this is in the category of old school MGM,
exactly. I was just about to say, like, of course it's going to go. It's old school MGM. That's the nail in the coffin for them.
Yeah. It is definitely a behind the movie magic type of vibe in there.
Which is the stuff we love, but...
Yeah. It's not on trend, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. That is a good one. I had not considered, but that definitely fits the criteria here. I've got one that is going away. It's a miracle that it stayed around for this long. Dinosaur over in Animal Kingdom. It's sad that it's going away. It is a Christmas miracle that it's held on for so long. However, it is in a state of decay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the last time that we had the chance to ride it, several animatronics don't work. They recently removed Raptor animatronics altogether from the ride. Because I'm assuming why spend the money to fix.
That's not nice. Just close it then. I feel like don't let's preserve our good memories instead of anyway.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But...
No, I agree with you. It does kind of sour the memory a little bit to see it falling apart like that.
Yeah.
However, I really enjoy Dinosaur. I'm glad it has lasted for so long. Talk about something that has completely outlived the IP upon which it is themed.
Oh yeah, I always forget that this has actual IP.
Barely. It is the classic example of something that, when it was conceptualized and opened, did not have IP. At the last minute, they shoehorned IP into it to promote the film Dinosaur as it was coming out. The film Dinosaur underperformed at the box office and has largely culturally been forgotten.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people probably do not know that Dinosaur the attraction is named after anything.
No, I'm just telling you, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that Pixar movie Good Dinosaur came out, and I also a flop. So
yeah, Disney and dinosaurs. I don't know what it is. They can't get it together over there.
Which is crazy because it seems like it should work.
Yeah. Right. Everyone loves dinosaurs.
Yeah.
How hard?
Yeah. Yeah. How many more do you have?
I've just got one.
Go ahead.
It's just Muppet Vision 3D.
Oh God. See, this hurts. What? You're gonna say it's a miracle that it's survived?
Yep.
All right.
That's all. Yeah, I did include a couple on here that are sad because they are going away.
Yeah.
But I have anticipated the closure of Muppet Vision 3D. as many people have for quite some time. I suppose you could lump Rock and Roller Coaster into this list as well, in its current form.
True. We didn't know that was going to happen. I never in a billion years would have guessed this is what they were going to do.
I know. It is very odd. I couldn't believe it when I saw the news article. When Morgan sent me what was happening, I stopped dead in my tracks at work as if one of my relatives had fallen gravely ill or something.
I just got bad news. I need to go home.
It was crazy to see that Aerosmith is out, but the Muppets are moving. What?
What?
Yeah. So I guess Rock and Roller Coaster, it's a miracle that will survive as a ride with a Muppet theme remaining in this. If you think about it the right way, it's a double Christmas miracle that we're keeping a Muppet themed attraction, and that Rock and Roller Coaster is not just being completely demolished for something else.
Look at you, all glass half full.
Now here's the glass half empty.
Okay.
What if the retheme is bad?
I know, it's a definite possibility.
Yeah. So we're rooting for it. We're hoping that it's great. I love Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. So I am in the target audience for this as someone who, prior to a couple of newer things opening, Rock and Roller Coaster was my favorite attraction in all of Walt Disney World. And I love the Muppets to death. So this is definitely right up my alley, right up my Sesame Street. And I'm thrilled to hope that it's going to be something that I love. So yeah, the Muppets, I guess, surviving is the ultimate Christmas miracle of Hollywood Studios.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. Very glass half full. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm trying my best in these troubling times.
These dark times. These dark Muppet times.
Yeah. Do you have anything else?
No, not really. I had put a few on there, but then I took them off because I don't know. Is it a miracle if it's not something that you love?
I've got 5 that are. It's a miracle. Yeah, I'm doing air quotes. It's a miracle that they're open, but I would be happy if they close.
Okay, well, shoot them off. I bet mine are on there too.
Journey into Imagination with Figment. Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin.
Oh, yeah.
Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor.
Oh, absolutely.
Swiss Family Treehouse.
Okay.
The Tomorrowland Speedway.
Oh, yes.
How are these still open in their current form?
I know. There's one that you don't have on there that I had, but I'm not dissing it it could close and I'd be fine with it. And that's Tiki Birds. Because I agree. I understand from the nostalgic historical point of view, but we absolutely don't go to this. So
I literally don't think we've ever been in there together.
We have yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I've been in there like once, legitimately. So
I can't, it's hard to believe. And that is the rare case of something that was rethemed.
And then got rethemed back.
And then got rethemed back to classic. Its classic form. That usually does not happen.
I guess for people that like it, or people that love it because it's historical or whatever, then it's a miracle for you that it's still around because it never is full.
And we, as people who appreciate Disney history more than the average person, also recognize that is not the majority of people going to Walt Disney World.
Right.
So for that reason, it is very surprising that the Enchanted Tiki Room remains open. I do think the only reason that they probably reverted it back was because there was a fire at that attraction.
Right. That,
rumor has it, severely damaged one of the Iago animatronics that was part of the show. And so it made a lot of sense for them to kind of just get rid of that and go back to classic Tiki Room. So yeah, it's weird. I would not be surprised at all if this got changed to some other kind of intimate show experience with a different theme. Especially in that space, I could very easily
with some really good Easter eggs towards the Tiki Birds, maybe.
I could very easily see a bunch of different IPs going in here. Moana being top of mind, because it's already in a tropical, Polynesia type of vibe.
And a lot of the scenes in Moana, they're like, that would. Yes,
Lilo and Stitch also takes place in tropical Polynesia. I can't believe this is still the Tiki Room. I don't love the Tiki Room as much as I love other classic Disney attractions, despite the fact that I recognize its historical importance. It's also not the original Enchanted Tiki Room. That belongs to the Tropical Serenade over at Disneyland. So if we do end up losing this, I think no biggie, honestly.
Yeah, because the original still exists.
Yeah,
I agree. But that I really, really think that's what they're going to keep doing with these historical rides.
I agree.
They shut it down in one park, but keep the original open in the other.
Close those clones.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Well, then I think that's going to, no pun intended, wrap it up.
Yeah, that's a lot. I like that.
Thank you.
That's a lot of Christmas miracles.
That's a lot of Christmas miracles. Hey, we're grateful. I mean, some of these things on this list, shocking.
Yeah.
They're still... Excuse me. So yeah, I'm very excited that we've still got some of these things. Thank you so much for joining us for this holiday episode. We hope you're having a good holiday season. Thank you so much for joining us through the show. If you've made it to the end, thanks for listening. If you would like to help support us, we would love to see you subscribe to the show and join us on social media at Neverland Navco, both on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah, and we also have an Etsy shop called Neverland Navigation on Etsy where we do custom shirts and dish towels and sweatshirts. You just have to send us a message on Etsy and tell us what you love, and then I will let you know some custom shirt ideas.
Yes, the ultimate Christmas gift. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're going to go wrap some presents, and we'll see you on our next adventure. Happy holidays!